Good day, everyone. I'm Patrick Amulong, the TBI coordinator of TOMASInno Center of UST, and I'll be your host for today. To start off, we will have Mr. Raymond Marquez, the TBI manager of TOMASInno Center, as he introduces the services and what are the other offers of TOMASInno Center. Sir Raymond?
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Raymond Marquez, the TBI manager of the DOST TOMASInno Center, and I'll be presenting the center. Our vision, the TOMASInno Center envisions itself to be a leading TBI in the Philippines, committed to the trust of its stakeholders for social transformation. Our mission, the TOMASInno Center declares its commitment to the pursuit of truth and formation of technically competent innovators and technopreneurs imbued with Christian values needed for the service of the church, the country, and the world. Who we are the Technology Business Incubator, or TBI, of the University of Santo Tomas under the HERIT program, or the Higher Education Institution Readiness for Innovation and Technopreneurship program of the DOST PHSW. Currently, this is our organization chart. We report to the Vice Director for Research and Innovation, and we have a staff of 3 with 2 managers. These are the current composition. You have the project leader and manager, then you have the assistant manager, Dr. Benjamin. You have Mr. Irigan, Ms. Cablar, and Mr. Patrick Amulong, and our project consultants. Our incubators follow a Cubs journey. We take them from pre-incubation, which is 6 months, to incubation and then post-incubation. And below are the programs they have to undergo to jump from one stage to another. For the past year, the DOST TOMASInno Center has some accomplishments. We have a new co-working space, adjacent room, and conference room, which was currently turned over to us. But despite the pandemic, we are currently unavailable for office, but we plan to make it available in the coming few weeks. Also, we have developed programs to support our startups incubators, which includes design thinking, market-related activities. You have to building company culture, how to set KPIs, and others. And the right side, currently we have 15 incubators of varied sectors. And some of them will be presented later on. Also, on the same accomplishments for year 1, we have implemented the Tech Pre program for UST, and we've accomplished the first batch. And we're planning to do the second batch this coming January 2021. Also, on the past year, we have established a network for the students, faculty, alumni, industry, and government by securing MOAs from our industry partners. Thank you. And Pat, I'll pass it to Pat.
Thank you for that great introduction, sir. So guys, if you have any questions about TOMASInno Center, how to apply, or if you want to know more details kung ano bang ginagawa namin, feel free to ask and we'll gladly answer them. Gladly answer your questions. And you can also visit our website or our Facebook page. Now, to move on, TOMASInno Center have a number of incubators, a handful of them. So now we will have 2 of our startups who will be showcasing their progress and give us an overview of what are they doing and maybe some of their future plans. So we'll start off with Pain Free. Doc Val and Sir Bong.
Yeah, thank you, Sir Patrick. I am Dr. Valentin Dodes, a professor at the College of Rehabilitation Sciences of the University of Santo Tomas. I am a private practitioner with 20 years of manual physiotherapy experience. With my desire to immediately help patients experiencing pain, I invented the pain-free taping technique. Our research team published articles reporting on the effectiveness of pain-free taping on the elbow, shoulder, and ankle. Several physiotherapists from the Philippines, India, and Malaysia are using pain-free taping in their clinical practice. This presentation introduces pain-free taping in the management of musculoskeletal pains. I will present pieces of evidence on the effectiveness of pain-free tape in reducing and eliminating pain. We use the pain-free tape to protect muscles, tendons, and ligaments from injuries caused by wrong muscle use. How would you feel if your patient can carry a bag of foodstuffs while taped? Would you be surprised to see a guy with ankle pain walk with tape? Will you be happy to see your mom cooking for you despite her rock shoulder blades? We want people, particularly allow our loved ones, to do things that make them happy despite the pain. Of course, we want them to be pain-free now. Pain-free effectively removes, if not minimizes, pain. It has an adhesive agent strong enough to hold the tape on the skin as the person moves. It remains hypoallergenic despite the strong adhesive properties. If the pain-free tape is carelessly applied, it can cause skin blister. The pain-free tape has delicately designed pores, allowing the skin to breathe during a pain-free movement. It is elastic. The spool protects tape from wearing out and from dirt. It maintains the right level of humidity, preserving the tape's adhesiveness. The spool can be converted into a soft tissue mobilizer. It activates the adhesive properties of a tape and mobilizes the skin and tissues underneath it. Pain-free taping is simple. We apply 3 layers of tape on the patient's skin. The pain-free tape should eliminate, if not reduce, the pain by 70%. We apply the base tape, rub the spool on the tape, we create skin lift using the second strip of tape. We make sure that we rub the spool on the tape side. The spool activates the adhesive properties of the tape. Using the third strip of tape, we enclose the skin lift. Again, the spool is important as it activates the adhesive properties of the tape. The pain-free tape is synonymous with pain relief. Let me tell you why. A patient with shoulder strain reported zero pain from 9 out of 10 pain when taped. The picture on the right side is from a patient with shoulder strain who reported 2 out of 10 from 8 out of 10 pain when taped. A clerk with wrist pain reported 2 out of 10 from 7 out of 10 pain when taped. An athlete with wrist pain reported zero pain from 7 out of 10 pain when taped. An athlete with quadriceps strain reported zero pain from 4 out of 10 pain when taped. A judo athlete with medial collateral ligament strain reported zero pain. Pain-free tape is a novel taping technique that effectively decreases lateral elbow pain, increases hand grip strength, and improves patient's function. Pain-free tape can be applied to painful elbows leading to a better grip. You can scan the code to read the full text article. Pain-free taping is as effective as kinesiotaping in decreasing pain and improving function of an individual with trapezius myalgia. Both taping techniques did not restrict the shoulder movements of 68 participants with trapezius myalgia. Pain-free tape improved the participants' pain and function after an acute ankle inversion sprain. The increased tissue stability created by the pain-free tape underpinned the improved pain and function of the 17 participants. How economical is pain-free tape? Shockwave stimulates the healing process by increasing blood flow to the affected areas, resulting in faster pain relief. Shockwave therapy in one area lasts for less than 5 minutes. It, however, costs 1,500 to 3,000 pesos per treatment area. If you have 3 areas to treat, it will cost at least 4,500 pesos. Each pain-free tape costs 350 pesos, which can be used in multiple areas by 20 patients. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the pain-free tape is a simple procedure used in teletherapy. The patient or his housemate can quickly learn it. We have trained pain-free taping experts who can assist practitioners, patients, and athletes in applying the pain-free tape. The pain-free tape is 5 centimeters by 10 yards. Up to 20 patients can use one pain-free tape. The pain-free tape is affordable at 350 pesos. You can buy pain-free tape at www.gopainfreenow.com. A certified pain-free practitioner helps patients during teletherapy and clinical treatments. They completed and passed the extensive training using the pain-free tape. They have access to pain-free training videos and platforms. You can know more about pain-free tape. Kindly visit gopainfreenow.com. You may also send your queries at vcdones@ust.edu.ph or support@gopainfreenow.com. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Dr. Val. So pain-free is one of our incubatees that has fast progress, and we're happy for their accomplishments. Pain-free solves a specific need and might be too scientific for some people. And if you happen to need one tape, or you want to know more about them, feel free to go to our website or ask your questions below. And or contact Dr. Val as he has stated his personal email. Now, for the second startup of TOMASInno Center that will showcase their progress, let us have Dr. Anthony James Bautista to introduce LISA and what it does.
Good day, everyone. I am Dr. Anthony James C. Bautista, and I'll be presenting to you the LISA robot, or the Logistic Indoor Service Assistant Robot. The first surge of COVID-19 last March 2020 caused panic locally and also in our medical sector. It was a new and infectious disease that caught us off guard. A close friend of mine from Pasig Doctors Medical Center, PDMC, his name is Rodrigo Calalang Santos, contacted me, and he was concerned about the increasing number of cases of COVID-19, as well as the numerous fatalities involving healthcare workers. And he said that one common cause of cross-contamination is the prolonged exposure of our healthcare workers to COVID-19 patients. Availability of personal protective equipment, or PPEs, were also becoming a problem during that time. Together, we conceptualized the first design of the LISA telepresence robot. The robot, the LISA, is an acronym for Logistic Indoor Assistant Telepresence Robot. The idea is to create a robot that can be remotely controlled by the user. It will have a tablet with video and audio capabilities to communicate with patients, and will have a compartment to carry medicines. Also, because of the urgency, we decided that the robot should be easy to build using readily available components. We also made sure that the robot will be affordable and at the same time effective, so that many hospitals and other agencies can benefit from the technology. On June 24th, we were able to turn over 4 units of LISA robots to the following hospitals. 1 unit in Pasig Doctors Medical Center, 1 unit for Marikina Valley Medical Center, Binangonan Lakeview Hospital, and Premier Medical Center. We were also able to deploy 8 additional LISA robots as led by Engineer Renato Alfante, the President and CEO of Macro Wiring Technologies. We deployed 1 unit for Pampanga Medical Specialist Hospital, 4 units to Baguio City Community Isolation Facility, and 1 unit in Camp Aguinaldo COVID facility. The LISA robot has gone to different stages of improvement based from the feedbacks that we gathered from our healthcare workers who were able to use the product. The LISA robot that I will be showing to you is the 5th version of the LISA robot that was derived from the funding support from Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology, Research and Development, or DOST PSERD. The LISA robot have 2 layers of shelves that can be used to deliver food packs, medical equipment, and medicine to hospital facilities and other quarantine sites. In the design, we adjusted the carrying capacity of the robot to 5 to 6 kilograms. So this means that the robot can already carry higher load efficiently. The tablet is also installed in the front end of the robot to allow communication of the healthcare workers to the mild COVID-19 patients. Teleconferencing applications such as Zoom or Messenger can be installed in these tablets for telecommunication or telepresence application. A Bluetooth speaker was also included that will amplify the sounds from the tablet for better communication between the healthcare personnel and the COVID-19 patient. All of these devices can be charged by the robot for continuous operation. Another option that we added in the robot is that it can already carry a disinfecting device such as UVC lights or liquid spraying disinfecting equipment and roam around an empty room. This is possible because of the 220-volt alternating current feature of the robot. And also, the robot is moisture resistant or moisture resistant. This means that there will be no problem if the user will wipe the robot during when it is to be disinfected. In using the LISA robot, the physical contact between the healthcare worker and COVID-19 patients are minimized, which lessens the possibility of cross-contamination of the virus. The LISA robot also minimizes the use of valuable personal protective equipment or PPEs of our healthcare workers. And the robot may also be used as an immediate assistant to our healthcare workers, fulfilling basic tasks such as transferring medical items, equipments, documents, or medicine. We also incorporated additional features to the LISA robot. The robot can now operate 5 hours straight when used during delivery of equipments, medicine, or other items. This is due to the added rechargeable batteries that we placed in the compartment of the robot. The robot can also operate 1 hour straight when using the 220-volt alternating current option. For example, the user wants to use the robot to carry a UVC light around a room and around an empty room, it can operate 1 hour straight. And we are recommending that if the battery already reaches 10 volts, it is recommended to charge the robot. We also place 3 speed selections: slow, medium, and fast. This was incorporated to allow different delivery phases during operation. And special type of wheels called the mecanum wheels were included. These wheels are special type of wheels that allows the robot to turn 360 degrees in one spot. This is a perfect wheel to allow the robot to navigate through tight locations in hospitals and other facilities. The wheels are independently driven for high torque capability for added power in inclined floors in the hospital or quarantine facilities. Currently, we have 8 additional units to be deployed to different public hospitals and quarantine facilities in different regions of the country before the year ends. This initiative is supported by DOST PSERD. The team is also planning to produce more units in cooperation with other private agencies. As a future plan, our team will upgrade the LISA robot, and this will be funded by the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, or DOST PCHRD, for a 2-year project implementation next year, 2021. In addition to manual remote control system, we will upgrade the technology by incorporating Wi-Fi control capability to allow doctors to operate the robot anywhere in the world through the use of Wi-Fi connection. And simultaneous localization and mapping, or SLAM algorithm using LiDAR sensor, will also be used so that the robot can create a map of the hospital or quarantine facilities or any facilities, and it can navigate autonomously to different locations while avoiding both static and dynamic obstacles. We will also incorporate, through the help of Dr. Rodrigo Calalang Santos, some medical functions in the robot, such as ability to measure blood pressure, body temperature, heartbeat, and many more. These features can be accessible to a single graphical user interface. So the main objective of the LISA robot is to deliver affordable and effective telepresence robot, easy to build and maintain. Gone are the days where robots are known to be complicated and expensive. Industry 4.0 allows us to develop certain level of technology that are practical, simple, and affordable. With this, on behalf of my team behind LISA Robot, I also want to extend our gratitude to our fellow innovators, researchers, and roboticists for their continuous efforts on delivering practical and affordable robots that will contribute to the pressing problems of our society. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you for that, Dr. Bao. So LISA is one of the most technologically advanced incubators of TOMASInno Center with great accomplishments. But I think I don't have the right position to say those right now. But thank you for that, Doc Bao, for your efforts to help our frontliners and help beat the coronavirus. Thank you po. TOMASInno Center has more incubators to introduce, but unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of time and they can't introduce all of them by themselves. So if you want to know more about our current incubators, or you happen to have a startup and want to be one of our incubators, you can go to our website or our Facebook page and apply. So now that we've showcased 2 of our startups, let's now move on to panel discussion, and may I call on Mr. Noel Aban, Mr. Nato Agbayani, and Mr. Aldo Sagire for our small panel discussion. Hello po, sirs.
Hi, Patrick. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello po, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Patrick. Yeah.
Okay. So, good day everyone. Today we will talk about startup culture of UST and the University Belt area. So I'll introduce each one of them. So I have here with me Mr. Noel Abansir. Kaway po kayo para ma-identify nila. Kahit may names. Ayan, para makita po nila yung pogi niyo mukha, sir. So, Sir Noel is a professor in University of Santo Tomas, and he's the president of Entrepreneurship Educators Association of the Philippines, or ENEDA, former chairperson of the Entrepreneurship Department of UST, and consultant of Mila Section. And we have Sir Nato Agbayani, sir. Hello po.
Hello. Good
And
afternoon.
he's the brand management lead of Family Business Consulting, founder of Brand Guerrilla PH, VP for Marketing of Turismo PH, and the co-founder of Bounce Back PH. And last but not the least, Sir Joy Sakira. Hello po.
Hello. Afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon po. He's the general manager of First Power Electrical Service and Trading Corp, a professor in Electrical Engineering Department in UST, and the former group manager of 3M Company. And I am Patrick Amulong, the coordinator of TOMASInno Center, the TBI of the University of Santo Tomas, and I will moderate this panel discussion for today. So, to start off po, ang icebreaker lang, sirs. Maybe for Sir Noel and Sir Choi. Do you see the University Belt as a source of a successful startup 5 years from now? Why or why not po?
Okay. Yes, Patrick, of course.
Okay.
Because of the population that we have, UST alone has 32,000 students. And the thing is, if you just get 1% of that, it's very promising. You must realize the factors that will contribute to the behavior of going into entrepreneurship. We have the lockdown, the mindset of our young people to be independent. Parang ikaw, di ba? To have a business of their own. These are all promising. And given the right motivation, the number could increase. So UST pa lang yun. What about the other schools, the nearby schools like FEU? So they are actually obviously going into encouraging startups.
Tama po, sir.
That's it, Patrick.
Sir Choi?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with Sir Noel on this one. Our community, there's abundance of knowledge in this area. Okay, just imagine it. We're just talking about the University Belt, and there's still a lot of colleges, universities, institutions within the country. And Sir Noel gave the number for UST. That's our number of students. All of them are potential startups. And the proper guidance, definitely we could make them all, or most of them, many of them become successful startups.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sir Choi. Dapat itong question ko is mamaya pa, pero since nabanggit ni Sir Noel yung lockdown, so my question is, do you think is lockdown a positive or a negative thing for startups, for small businesses? Because we all know that the playing field is equal. Even corporations, big companies, or medium-sized companies, we're all experiencing this pandemic the first time. So the playing field is equal. So do you think is it a good thing or a negative thing for startups? Does the lockdown boost them or does it hinder them?
Actually, Patrick, the lockdown itself, in terms of mobility, that could be addressed.
Okay.
In the early part of the lockdown, kung mapapansin mo, parang it seems everything is not possible. Pero as we go through the online thing, makita mo nga yung meetings, everything, very accessible na lahat ngayon. Kasi natutunan na natin. I think that the biggest problem that you will have is actually on the sales.
Okay.
Meaning the people who will actually buy the products that you will offer. And we have to accept that a lockdown, because of a pandemic such as what we are having now, is a result, actually it's already considered a crisis, a recession. Di ba pagka recession, curtailed lahat. Less job, no, less spendings. So I think that would be the biggest hindrance. So I think that in a lockdown situation such as this one, the best thing that a startup could do, or person who wanted to go into entrepreneurship, is to prepare, so that after the pandemic, after the lockdown, after the crisis, we will be ready, to reap the results of the so-called post-pandemic, post-recession. Yun yung dapat natin pagandaan. So, yun yung Patrick.
Thank you, sir. Sir Nator, Sir Choi, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sige, Sir Choi muna.
Go ahead, sir.
All right. Well, as for example, since the beginning of the lockdowns, I'm part of what they call the Bounce Back PH movement. It's a movement of micro, small, and medium enterprises. It's like Go Negosyo but smaller, or we cater to those who have been affected by the lockdowns, and all throughout the lockdowns that we endured, it seems that all the SMEs are really hopeful, and the realization is that the fact that what Sir Noel was saying is everything has become a level playing field, and at this point in time, anybody can pivot. For example, there are cloud kitchens emerging. There's so many things, so many people engaged now in technology, big or small, and I guess it's like a curve where when we find that sweet spot, we can go up. And I think before at the beginning of the lockdowns, Dr. Bernie Villegas of UANP was thinking, well, you're going to have a V recovery path. No, towards the middle of the lockdowns, we had an L an L curve. And now it
Okay.
seems it's going to be another V curve, and we're going to recover quickly very soon. And we're starting to feel it, but we need to really, really be very careful. I think it has to be a science based approach. When I say science based, we really need to understand what we're up against. And so far, we're very encouraged by what's happening now, and I think UST Innovation Center can be one of the partners for that shift, for that paradigm shift from having startups that can make it big in the future, especially now that we have, well, COVID-19 is a challenge, but it is not. It's a setback, but it can be overcome, and yeah, with God's grace, everybody will be up and running again.
Thank you po. Thank you, sir. Sir Choi?
Yeah. Well, initially, the pandemic is depressing, definitely. Because, it's going to change your life. Okay. However, it calls for the right mindset. Okay. We cannot really settle forever on the depressing mode, and we gotta gear ourselves into transforming this or shifting this into an opportunity. And the pandemic has shown that it's an opportunity for innovation, finding solutions, because the norm is no longer the norm. It has changed. Okay? Delivery of the goods and everything. You see, a lot has came out. Yung mga tayo naman yan, okay, people buying this all through online and other social media channels. Okay? So it's just a matter of setting up the right mindset. And in my case, what I see is you assess. If you are running or trying to put up a new business, you assess the situation. Okay? What is new now as compared to before the pandemic, and you find a solution to that. Okay? So you innovate, and it's not only a call for innovating products or services. It's also a call for innovating your business processes. the business model. Okay? Dati, you might be delivering the items, you have this store, but now orders are coming through online, social media channels. So you might want to capitalize on those things. Okay? And yeah, you see now also one thing that came out of this pandemic, the face cover. It's transforming also, the face mask. At the start of the pandemic, it's just a normal cloth. Okay? But now you try to notice people on the road, people outside, they are now wearing something more improved or better looking. It's a call for innovation. It's not just a call to innovate products, it's also a call to innovate your business model, the business process, okay, for you to be able to adapt because there are constraints put up in our day-to-day living and you get to adapt your business into that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that po, Sir Choi. And I agree. Years ago, work from home is already a topic na if it's feasible, kaya ba siya, bakit di siya ginagawa ng iba, why some companies can do it. But right now, we are forced to do it. We are forced to work from home or not work at all, di ba? So, not only innovate the product, but also the business model.
Correct.
Yeah, I'd like to agree with Sir Choi. No, if it's really a change of mindsets, if it's a change of mindsets, I agree with Sir Choi. No, na if it's going to be a change of mindsets, people can now really after no, at the start it was like you said it was really depressing, but now I can see people are very hopeful. The only problem really is some people are overdoing it and we need to be really more careful. As I said, it has to be a science-based approach. In the early days of the pandemic, we did a survey about 500 SMEs that were members of Bounce Back, and it really shows that people suffered for the meantime. But now a lot of industries, a lot of us SMEs are recovering, and I think this is the time that the innovation centers, the TICs of this world, can really lead in creating, shall we say, enterprises that can really go beyond COVID-19 and really thrive in the new economy.
See po. Thank you for that, Senato. Very informative po. So, I have another question po. What, for all of you that wants to answer, what do you think are the obstacles for students that want to start the startup aside from funding, and how can we help them?
Of course, always putting up a new business, the financial resources will be the number one, the first problem to come in. But
Yeah.
in the assumption on this question of that being put aside, well, opportunities can become infinite. Okay. However, to me, it's not really more of the financial resources. There are some other tools that could help solve that issue. To me, it's really more of the attitude. Okay, it's more critical to me because some startups may have a really good idea, but what's preventing them to move forward is their fear of failure or losing the money. Okay, so it's they don't want that. They don't want to experience losing. They don't want to fail. But it's again, and go back to that mindset. It's taking it positively. Definitely, you will have all those setbacks as you put up your own business. But if you would take that as a learning experience and then use that to sharpen yourself, improve your product, improve your processes, then definitely time will come very soon that you will be successful also in your business. Again, it's just positive thinking.
Okay. So it's positive mental attitude. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir Noel.
Patrick, alam mo, I completely agree with Sir Choi. Actually, It's not much on the funding. The funding, of course, is a basic requirement. Pero as mentioned by Sir Choi, the biggest obstacle is the fear of failing in business. And as he said, unless you educate them that that calculated risk, no, is very important, then perhaps that is only the time that they will reconsider going into business or starting their own enterprise. Kasi the fear of failure, like losing your hard-earned money, is an outcome that will define your future. Alam nilang posible na silang hindi makabangon, di ba? But if they have the knowledge and skills to become startups, then they will have the confidence to decide on putting up their own enterprise.
Yeah.
Alam mo,
You know,
based on experience, running an enterprise is not an easy task. You get employed, okay? For sure, your hard-earned money will come in on the 15th and 30th of the month. You license your invention, it is a well, it's a passive income. But to become a startup, you worry about the 15th and 30th of the month because you worry about the money that you have to raise for the salary of your people.
Yeah.
You worry about you worry about the you worry about your payable to your suppliers. Kaya nga ang startup kasi ang entrepreneur mabigat kasi they are the originator of the business, they are the organizer, and they are even the operator of the business. So the question for would-be startups would be, are you ready for the big responsibility? Pat?
That's it. Thank you for that. Thank you po, sir.
I agree with that with Sir Noel. No, I've been consulting for a lot of families in business who are basically entrepreneurs and who have grown their businesses into medium to large scale businesses, and it really takes that entrepreneurial spirit. You know, at the beginning, kailangan pakainin ko yung pamilya ko. You know, we've been in family business consulting for a long time, and it begins there. You know, the entrepreneurial spirit is there, and you know, they were also startups at a certain point. Actually, most of them began with like, pakainin ko na pamilya ko muna. That was the real idea. Then eventually they grew into large, yeah, they grew into large and medium scale enterprises, and it all starts from there. Tama yung sabi ni Sir Noel. It's really about responsibility, about mindset, because it's easy to, you know, if you have capital, you can just invest and just buy a startup. But if you're doing the startup yourself, like me too, we are a startup for tourism in the Philippines and in the world. So we understand the hard work it takes, the long hours. We've also been employed in the past. Your employees, like I was with the telco companies before, and it's really right. No, I mean 15-30. Well, of course, there's regularity, but in terms of unlimited potential and the boundaries that you can cross and the horizons you can reach beyond the being employed is, I think, unlimited when you are a startup or an entrepreneur, and when you succeed in doing so. But again, like any practical entrepreneur, it takes a lot of failures to really achieve success. That's no secret. You can ask any entrepreneur and they will tell you that.
Okay. Thank you po, Sir Nato. And siguro since kayo na po yung last na nag-answer, I'll ask you po briefly, sir. With your, I should say, top-notch experience, medyo may iba na po hindi sinabi kanina sa credentials dahil masyado nang mahaba. What tips can you give po sa mga, let's say, a second-time founders naman, not the first-time ones? Bukod po sa risk of failure, sa attitude. What do you think po? Ano po yung masasabi sa kanila based on your experience family consulting?
Sorry, I'd like to ask, I mean, can you say that question again? What tips could you give
To second-time founders, aside from don't
What
be
are
afraid of
second-time founders?
nag-fail na po yung una nilang startup. Ano po yun?
Nag-fail na yung
Their
first startup.
second venture. What can you
Yeah.
tell? What do you want to tell them po?
Well, I think it's known by really the shall if we call them second time founders or parang that it really takes perseverance to there's no tried and tested. If you're experimenting, if you're innovating, it's always well, of course, sabi nila, fools learn from their own mistakes. Wise men learn from other people's mistakes. So the idea is to really get the benchmarks, understand what made people succeed, and if you know that, you're on your way to success. Kasi ang ano lang, yung caveat lang doon, of course, yung fools learn from their own mistakes. Mistakes or failures are also the best teachers. Yun naman yun. So two sides. But of course, learn from the people who have done it before. That's
Thank you.
exited.
Thank you po, Sir Nato. Sir Noel, briefly po, would you like to share us some plans of ENEDA? Because we might learn a thing or two and maybe may mga viewers tayo na gusto mag-share or kakailanganin yun.
Okay, Patrick. The objective of ENEDA, Entrepreneurship Educators Association of the Philippines, is to train teachers to teach entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Teachers have, kasi pag tiningnan mo talaga, and I've been to many schools, meaning observe many teachers. The entrepreneurship is so wide, and basically there are talagang thousands, many ways of teaching entrepreneurship. But the most important thing for ENEDA, for us, is to understand that teaching entrepreneurship is different from the traditional way of teaching marketing, HR, operations, and finance.
Yeah.
If you teach them independently of each other, then you will have a hard time making your students understand entrepreneurship. Meaning, you have to remove that silo thinking between the different functional areas. You have to show the relevance of marketing to operations, to people management, to the organization, and the relevance of all three functions to your finance, to your financial gains. So these are very, very important consideration in teaching entrepreneurship. Another thing is the learning process. Theory alone will not suffice. You have to teach the skills and the process as well. You have to teach the process, because you have to realize that after all, you will be running a live business. So, yun lang. You can actually, I gave our website, so
Okay.
all educators are free to join. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, sir. And for Sir Choi, arguably, you're the most technical person today dito po sa ating panel. Technical in terms of skill set and scientific terms. So, among all of you, would you say that technical people like you have an edge in starting a company compared to a business person that wants to be a technical person starting a company?
Well, I think Sir Noel is also an engineer.
Engineering background.
Yes, engineering. Okay. Well, it depends on the perspective. If you're looking at developing the product, then probably we are already equipped with that skills or knowledge. Okay, as ourselves, mismo, we are already a product because we can provide consultancy, we can provide services to the customers. We ourselves are already a product. But what we lack, commercializing this product. Okay, if you were just looking, focusing mainly on the curriculum being offered in engineering, okay, it's not enough. We already have the product, but to put it out in the market, that's what we need. It may be the best product in the world, you may be providing the best services in the world, but if you are not properly promoting your product, then it will also lead to failure. So yes and no, because again, yes, we're already a product as ourselves,
Right.
and no, because we lack that knowledge to market our product.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you have to bring those products in the front doors of your customers. So
Yes.
walang bibili, wala sa pinto nila. Yeah. And I have this question for all of you po, because I've been a student as well. And here's, I think, one question na makaka-relate po sila. So do you think focusing on the startup industry be the answer to the country's high migration? I have no numbers po kung how many students or at what age goes to other country to work or for good. Pero I think it's pretty high up there. Or do you think focusing on startups would be a good reason para bumaba po yung migration ng Philippines?
Do you want us to answer that from a sociological or an engineering perspective?
Kung ano pinasa puso nyo?
I'll answer that first from a sociological
Okay po.
perspective.
Sige po, sir.
Well, I think the numbers will go down, the numbers of people, because it's going to be a reverse brain drain. What's happening now is a lot of our people are going abroad, a lot of our engineers are going abroad. And that's because of the opportunities that happen to be not available here at the moment. But if we really focus on the startup community, I think there will be more engineers. Like I said, we need less politicians, actually. We need more engineers, more medical personnel, more more environmentalists, more social workers, more educators. That's what we need, actually. What I'm saying actually is, if we have the startups and focus really on emerging inventions that really have social impact or create social impact, like democratizing services, for example, and making it more available. That I think would generate a lot of jobs. And definitely, right now we have about 10 million more or less Filipinos abroad. And if only we can reduce that number and replace it with like a little, maybe we reduce it by 20-30%. um, it's going to change how we look at our economy. We can become a first world country. I think we should go by the path of Taiwan, where they decided that they will take a path that in 10 years we will be the semiconductors center of the world, or a center of excellence. And the Filipinos need to decide that, because in Korea, people support startups, the government supports startups, and even in China, the government supports startups. Like, I know that our government is doing what it can, but maybe the more support is best. And also some sort of industry, academe, and government triparty integration or collaboration would really do that. And yes, it would be a good thing if we could reduce that number. Although right now we're reliant on small, well, it's keeping the country afloat, the economy afloat. But we can convert that money. Ultimately, these OFWs can invest in startups that really make sense, and that could reverse it for the rest of for the whole country. And that's why we're supporting the startup community.
Community, yes.
Yeah.
Patrick,
Sir.
compared before, all the stakeholders now are focusing on developing the entrepreneurial mindset. And this will jumpstart the creation of an enterprise. Pag pinansin mo, schools are now designing their curriculums. The president, the OSC, and government agencies like DTI have entrepreneurship as its priority. Nakikita niyo naman yun, the bills being passed. Industries are now willing to partner with schools to develop and improve products and services. So I think give more years and startups or entrepreneurship would be an important alternative.
Tama po,
Okay.
sir. Sir
Yeah.
Choi.
Yeah, well, definitely the answer to your question is yes. Okay. But they only just need to commit and be determined on putting up their own enterprise. Uh, of course, the question comes out is, what will I feed my family now? Um, well, they can do both at the same time for now until we reach that point or that year now we can already put up or everybody's here. No need to migrate to find for work or a job. They can enable their family members to put up the company, okay, and they fund it as they earn money from abroad, bring back that money here, and then allow their family members or friends to put up that business and run that business for them. And from there, as it becomes big, then it will likely become enough for them to sustain their living, their family, then they come back here in the Philippines. Fernando mentioned Korea earlier. I always admire Korea because after the Korean War, the Koreans decided we will have together to bring up our country again. And they focus on developing, improving their countries, coming up with businesses. Now what do they have? They've got the Samsungs, the Hyundais, and all those big conglomerates building up their economy. So again, with the right discipline and nationalism, should I say, we can definitely be in that level of the Koreans or the Taiwanese.
Okay.
Had two things we need to do.
Mhm.
We if we want to do this and really make it as a country, as the whole country, the whole Philippines, we need to be one intentional. Number two, really purposive and deliberate about really changing the economy and thinking first world. Otherwise, it can't happen because people, ano, alam mo tayo Filipinos, we have this small group, this small group, this small group, but it has to be a collective campaign to really come out with Team Philippines in terms of startups and really support it in an intentional, deliberate, and purposive way for this country to rise up. That's the only way. That's the only way we can have our OFWs come back. And that's sabi nga nila, if you're always facing the same problems, you got to think of new solutions. And I think the new solution is really becoming united about doing the stuff that we need to do. So I hope the whole startup community can get their brains and apps together and lalo na tayo sa UST Tomasino Center, parang okay naman tayo. We just
Opo.
need to act
Malaking
in congruence with everybody else, with the intention that let's make Philippines a first world country.
Okay, thank you for that very informative na sharing, Senato. So I think we're running out of time. So lastly, very briefly, I'm just gonna ask your contact details where our viewers gonna message you or inquire if they want to collaborate with you. Sir Choi, saan niyo po kayo gustong ma-reach ng ating viewers or ng people?
They can send me an email in my USP account. So I'm putting it here now. So
Okay po.
atzahire@usp.edu.ph.
Okay, thank you. Sir Nato, where can they reach you po? How can they reach you?
All right, I put my email. It's fragbayani@outlook.com. So I also have two Facebook pages. One is for advocacies and nation building, and the other one is for business advisor. They can contact any of those FB pages. I'm sure I'll answer it.
Okay. Sir Noel, where can they
Patrick,
reach you?
they can reach me through my FB account, Noel Aban, or yung USC email. I just flash it as well. cvaban@ust.edu.ph. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you po for our panelists. And I think that's all for our panel discussion and for Tomasino Center.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you po.